In a world often defined by complexity and rapid change, a remarkable story of progress is quietly unfolding across the Middle East. This is not a story about conflict or politics, but one of ambition, innovation, and economic cooperation. At the heart of this transformation is the Arab Industrial Alliance, a visionary partnership that brings together nations like the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Jordan, Bahrain. This alliance represents a fundamental shift in thinking. It moves away from competition and toward collaboration. The goal is simple, yet profound: to build a shared, sustainable economic future by pooling resources, expertise, and industrial might. It is a powerful statement about the region's determination to write its own story of prosperity for the 21st century. This initiative is more than just a trade agreement, it is a strategic blueprint for self-reliance and growth. The member nations have identified key sectors, such as agriculture, pharmaceuticals, textiles, and technology, where they can create integrated value chains. Imagine Egyptian factories processing raw materials from Jordan, which are then used in advanced manufacturing in the UAE, with Bahrain providing logistical support. This interconnectedness fosters resilience, making the entire region less vulnerable to global supply chain disruptions. It is a practical, forward-looking approach that recognizes the immense potential that lies within the Arab world. So, what exactly do we mean by regional integration? At its core, it is the idea countries can achieve more together than alone. Think of it like a neighborhood pooling resources. One family might have a great garden, another might be skilled at construction, a third might have a large vehicle for transport. Together they build a better community. On a national scale, it works similarly. Countries lower or eliminate trade barriers like tariffs. That makes buying and selling across borders easier and cheaper. A larger unified market attracts local and international investors. Integration goes beyond trade, harmonizing regulations, coordinating industrial policy, investing in cross-border infrastructure, highways, railways, digital networks. For the Arab world, this holds huge promise: shared language, shared cultural heritage, geographic proximity. Integration lets countries specialize: textiles, pharmaceuticals. Specialization brings greater efficiency, higher quality products, lower consumer costs across the region. Individual economies become a unified economic force. Today's interconnected, volatile world makes economic resilience essential. That creates a virtuous cycle of activity and shared prosperity. Amidst this landscape of industrial cooperation, a new form of digital technology is capturing the imagination of millions: the Pi network. To understand Pi, look at early digital currencies like Bitcoin. Bitcoin was revolutionary, but it had its challenges. It required powerful, expensive computers. It consumed enormous amounts of energy to mine new coins. That created a high barrier to entry. Only a select few with technical and financial resources could participate. The Pi network was created to solve this problem. Its core idea: anyone can mine from their smartphone, and it does so without draining battery or data. That makes Pi uniquely accessible. The founders, a team of Stanford PhDs, envisioned an inclusive peer-to-peer marketplace. They built a mobile app where pioneers earn Pi by pressing a button once a day. That simple tap verifies presence and helps secure the network. No technical skill required, negligible phone resources used. As a result, Pi has grown into a massive global community, tens of millions worldwide. Students in Cairo, shopkeepers in Amman. Pi put currency creation into ordinary people's hands. Pi is about building an ecosystem. The project is being developed in phases. Current phase: enclosed mainnet, transactions for goods and services inside the community. This practical focus makes Pi relevant to economic developments in the Arab world. One of the most important concepts to grasp when discussing the Pi network is consensus value. This idea is fundamentally different from traditional currencies, and different from other cryptocurrencies. The value of $1 is backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. The value of Bitcoin is largely determined by supply and demand on open market exchanges, driven by speculation. Pi, however, proposes something different. Visual diagram. Pi coin connected to goods and services like coffee, a car, a book, and a house. During its current enclosed mainnet period, its value is being established organically from the ground up through the collective agreement of its millions of users. It is a value determined by the community itself. Imagine a farmer in Egypt who has a surplus of dates. He decides he is willing to sell a box of his dates for 1 Pi coin. At the same time, a textile merchant in Jordan, who also uses the Pi network, agrees to sell a scarf for 1 Pi. When they make these transactions with other users, they are collectively building a consensus. One pie is worth a box of dates. One pie is worth a scarf. Thousands, millions. As such transactions occur across the globe for a vast array of goods and services, a stable, market-driven consensus value begins to emerge. This method is a powerful form of economic democracy. It is built from the bottom up by the people who are actually using the currency. For the Arab world, this concept of consensus value is particularly compelling. The convergence of the Arab Industrial Alliance and the Pi Network vertical bar is where this story becomes truly transformative. On one hand, a top-down, government-led initiative. Build physical supply chains, harmonize industrial policy, foster large-scale economic cooperation. This is the hardware of the new regional economy. On the other hand, a bottom-up, people-powered digital network, a decentralized, accessible payment system, facilitating trade at every level. The synergy can accelerate economic integration and unlock unprecedented opportunities. The alliance's primary goal: make it easier for goods to move between member countries. Tariff removal and standardized regulations are a crucial first step, but payment and settlement remain a major hurdle, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises. Traditional international bank transfers are slow, traditional transfers are expensive, and burdened with paperwork. A digital currency like Pi can act as a lubricant for trade. Example: a business in Egypt pays a supplier in Jordan instantly with Pi, with minimal fees, without the need for bank currency conversion. This reduces friction, making regional trade faster and more efficient. The synergy also creates a more inclusive economic model. This forms a closed-loop regional economy. Value is created and retained, not siphoned off by external processors. This is not just a theoretical discussion. The adoption of Pi payments is already happening on the ground across the Arab world. While the network is still in its enclosed mainnet phase, a vibrant barter economy has emerged, driven by the community's belief in the project's future. In cities and towns across Egypt, Jordan, the UAE, and beyond, early adopters are using their Pi coins to purchase real goods and services. These pioneers are not waiting for a formal exchange listing. They are actively building the currency's value through tangible, everyday transactions. For instance, numerous small businesses have begun to signal their acceptance of Pi. In several communities, you can find local cafes that will accept Pi for a cup of coffee and a pastry. There are electronics shops advertising that customers can use their mined Pi coins to purchase mobile phones or accessories. We have even seen car dealerships in the region create buzz by offering vehicles for a combination of traditional currency and a significant amount of Pi. These transactions are often based on a negotiated consensus value, for example, where both buyer and seller agree that one Pi is worth a certain amount in their local currency for the purpose of that specific trade. The benefits of this transformation extend far beyond businesses. They have a profound impact on the lives of everyday people. Perhaps the most significant impact is the promotion of financial inclusion. Across the Middle East, while mobile phone penetration is extremely high, a considerable portion of the population remains unbanked, underbanked. This means they lack access to basic financial services like bank accounts credit. The Pi network, by design, bypasses this entire system. All that is needed is a smartphone, an internet connection. These are far more accessible than a traditional bank account, giving millions their first entry point into the digital economy. For the individual, this opens a world of new possibilities. A talented artisan in a remote village who previously had no way to sell beyond their local market can now create a Pi wallet and reach a global audience. They can receive payments instantly from customers thousands of miles away, without needing a bank account or paying exorbitant fees to intermediaries. This empowers people to monetize their skills. Ultimately, this shift gives people more control over their financial lives. As we look to the future, the path being forged by the Arab Industrial Alliance and digital innovators like the Pi network is both exciting and promising. The journey is far from over, but the direction is clear. The region is moving decisively towards a future defined by economic integration, technological advancement, shared prosperity. The alliance of industry and technology is creating a powerful ecosystem where physical goods and digital value can flow seamlessly across borders, empowering large corporations and individual entrepreneurs. This story will continue to unfold, and the world should pay close attention. Success depends on continued collaboration. Governments within the alliance must commit to breaking down barriers and fostering an environment where innovation can flourish. Communities building decentralized networks like Pi must focus on creating real-world utility and building trust. However, the momentum is undeniable. The convergence of top-down strategic planning and bottom-up grassroots innovation is a potent formula for transformative change. This is a story of how a region is harnessing its own talent and resources to forge a brighter, more prosperous destiny for all its people.